The sun set low beyond the edge of the city, casting the streets in gold and shadow. Out here on the overlooked side of town, silence was the dominant force. Broken glass shone like cold stars on broken pavement, and the air stank of rust and rain. It was the sort of place people drove by with their windows rolled up, ignoring it. Officer Ethan Cole knew these streets longer than anyone. Decades of patrolling the back roads had taught him every corner of neglect. Every tale no one was interested in hearing. But tonight, things felt off. The radio hissed with static, then a sound, a soft, quivering whimper. Too quiet to be sure, but loud enough to make him shiver and feel a chill creeping up his back. Ethan brought the car to a halt, emerged into the dying light, and listened. The air was heavy with the smell of charred plastic and rot. In back of a rundown warehouse, his beam of light skirted over heaps of rubbish and broken glass. Nothing stirred until he spotted a glimmer. Something tiny, something living. His own heart thrummed with urgency as he drew near. And there, half hidden under a ragged blanket, was a little girl. Her face paper white, her full-length limbs as frail as sticks, her hair dirty and grey with dust. For an instant that was horrifying. He imagined she was dead. Then, the subtlest rise and fall of her chest. If you think kindness is still a force in this world, take a moment to like, comment, and share this article, because this one will leave a mark. Ethan knelt beside her. She couldn't have been more than 8 years old. Her pink dress was in tatters, her lips parched, her hands shaking as if grasping something lost a lifetime ago. He spoke soft, a name he didn't even know, hoping she could pick up his voice in the darkness. Her eyelids fluttered open for an instant. Blue, far away but alive. That was all it took. Ethan's voice trembled as he grasped his radio. "Dispatch! I require an ambulance. Immediately." He stood waiting, and he saw something next to her. A little charred teddy bear with a name embroidered on the ear for Ivy. Love, Mum. The words cut deeper than a bullet. Underneath, a worn-out picture, a smiling woman, and this same little girl, standing in front of a warm house that seemed a world apart from here. This wasn't a child born into hopelessness. This was a child taken from it. He glanced around. A broken bowl, a torn blanket, footprints in the ground. Another had been here not long ago. When the ambulance arrived, the medics worked fast. Ethan held Ivy's tiny hand as they lifted her onto the stretcher. "You're safe now, sweetheart," he whispered. "You're safe." But as the sirens faded into the distance, Ethan couldn't move. That name echoed in his mind. Ivy. How could anyone abandon her? He didn't go home that night. He waited in the hospital hallway outside the pediatric ICU, eyes on the bright emergency sign. The hours ticked by. At last, a nurse emerged. "She's stable," she whispered, "but she's been living on rainwater and scraps for weeks." Ethan didn't sleep. He waited at her bedside, eyes on the steady beep of the monitor, a small heartbeat against the hush. By morning, he made a vow to himself. He would discover what had become of Ivy and whoever had left her to perish. It had been almost 2 years since the police had submitted the report. A missing child, Ivy Malone, only 6 years old, had disappeared after her mother escaped from an abusive house. Her name was Claire Malone, and mother and daughter had not been seen since. When Officer Ethan learned of this connection, his heart fell. Somewhere out there, a mother could still be missing her lost child, or worse, she might not even know her little girl was alive. Days turned into weeks. With Ethan's tenderness, Ivy gradually recovered. Her cheeks filled out, her eyes sparkled, but she hardly spoke. Occasionally, while drowsing, she would murmur tragic phrases. "Mommy, don't hit." And with each occurrence, Ethan's heart constricted. He promised himself he wouldn't give up until he uncovered the truth. One day, however, all of this changed. A local refuge named a woman had been seen walking the outskirts of the city. She was gaunt, battered, hardly making sense, and continued to mutter something about losing her little girl in a fire. Ethan's fingers shook as he asked her name. "Claire," said the voice on the phone. When Ethan got to the shelter, the view devastated him. Claire resembled a ghost, hair matted, eyes sunken, her spirit near dead. But when he produced the photo that had been discovered next to Ivy, her life came flooding back to her. Her shaking hands held onto the photo as tears streamed down her face. "She's alive. My baby's alive," Claire whispered. Ethan spoke not a word. He could only nod, and they wept together. A mother who believed she'd lost everything, and a man who wouldn't let her tale end in disaster. The hospital reunion was one no one would ever forget. When tiny Ivy spotted the woman at the door, time stood still. Silence filled the room, but only their hearts recalled. Then Ivy breathed softly, hardly above a whisper. "Mommy." Claire dropped to her knees and hugged her daughter close, cradling her like something too delicate to be real. The nurses wept. Even Ethan could not look, secreting his own tears as emotion took him over. He'd seen pain, cruelty, and loss 1,000 times before. But in that one moment, that one human connection, he was reminded why he had the badge at all. If this tale moved you, kindly like, share, and subscribe to Real Kindness Stories, because kindness still counts, and one little act of kindness can rewrite a life for good. Before you leave, let us know in the comments, what would you have done if you were Officer Ethan? Would you have pulled over the car that day? As Ethan departed from the hospital that night, the sun scorched orange across the sky, the same sky as the night he initially discovered Ivy. But now, rather than silence, he heard something new, laughter wafting softly from her room, and for the first time in a very, very long time, he smiled through tears, knowing that even at the deepest, darkest corners of the world, kindness still has the power to bring life back again.